Was it murder in a jealous rage or an act of self-defense? Testimony begins in the trial of Jeffrey Bruner. And the Jasper County Juvenile Detention Center makes some policy changes following a failed inspection.
The four states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning. Welcome to the KOAM Morning News, 5:30 on a Wednesday. I'm Dave Pilot.
And I'm Tanya Bogg. Coming up this half hour, Southwest Missouri School District asked voters to approve a bond issue on the April ballot. The plans for a $4.5 million proposal just ahead.
And a shift in plans for the Obama administration, why the president is slowing down the withdrawal of U.S. troops from Afghanistan. Right now, a check of our weather.
Yeah, definitely a lot of things going on in the sky.
It's pretty busy.
All right, thanks, Dave. Well, testimony resumes today in the murder trial of a man accused of killing a Missouri Southern assistant football coach. The big question, was the shooting sparked by a jealous rage or self-defense? Prosecutors say Jeffrey Bruner shot MSSU coach Derek Moore because Moore was in a relationship with Bruner's estranged wife. Jurors and attorneys yesterday heard details of what happened prior to the shooting in front of Joplin's Hollywood North Star movie theater on November 1st of 2013. Bruner's wife Michelle had posted a picture on Facebook showing she was on a date with Moore at the theater. Jeffrey Bruner and his daughter Alexis were at McDonald's on Rangeline Road in Joplin. Alexis testified when she showed the Facebook post to her father, he became enraged. Several other people yesterday testified after Bruner shot Moore. Bruner kept referencing the Facebook post. According to one witness, Jeffrey said they posted it all over Facebook. What's a guy supposed to do? Bruner's attorney claimed self-defense and that Bruner was fearful of Moore. You'll find more details of yesterday's hearing on our website at KOAMTV.com. There's new information out of Cherokee County, Kansas involving a death investigation. An autopsy report yesterday determined 35-year-old Shannon Fonda of Midland, Texas, died from shock and complications due to burns that covered about 90% of her body. Her body and car were found Monday morning in a field in Scammon, Kansas. Cherokee County deputies and the Kansas Bureau of Investigation are still trying to piece together the circumstances surrounding Fonda's death.
We're still in contact with authorities down in Texas and trying to determine, what might have led her to come to Southeast Kansas, what she did along the way between, at some point she left Midland, Texas and arrived in Cherokee County. So what was her route? What did she do? Things like that. And so we're just trying to piece that together at this point.
According to reports out of Texas, Fonda worked in a convenience store and was well liked. The Jasper County Juvenile Detention Center is open after a failed inspection, but it will not be housing offenders overnight anytime soon. The facility failed a fire inspection about 2 months ago. Juvenile officers now drive offenders who need secure detention to Springfield, where they are held at the Greene County Juvenile Detention Center. The inspection forced repairs of a heating and air unit, hot water tank piping, door locks, and smoke alarms. Commissioners say they are discussing the future of the center, but at least for now, authorities are adjusting to a new routine for dealing with juvenile offenders.
The juvenile office has been doing the driving of the juveniles to Greene County, and they've really done a great job of trying to lessen the impact as much as possible on the local police departments.
We would explore all options, I'm sure, whether that could be renovated, whether it was a new building. I'm sure all options would be explored.
Transferring youth to the Greene County Juvenile Detention Center cost the county in February that amounted to $1,350 taken from the county emergency fund. The Seneca School District is seeking approval for a $4.5 million bond issue on the April 7th ballot. Officials say the bond would fund 12 different projects across the district. Part of the proposed bond issue would go toward construction of a 7,000 square foot safe room at the high school. Currently, the only safe room is at the intermediate school. Superintendent Jim Cummings says the bond issue will not raise taxes. Right now, the debt service levy is 85 cents to pay off current debt. If the new bond passes, that 85 cents will remain the same, but officials would have more money for additional projects.
We would add a tornado shelter at the Early Childhood Center. We would hit several upgrade projects, junior high restrooms, elementary kitchen, visitor bleachers at the high school, some HVAC needs.
The largest portion of the bond, $2 million, would go toward paying off a lease purchase agreement, which officials estimate will free up $350,000 of the district's operating budget, benefiting other programs. The Seneca School District is holding a public meeting to answer questions on the bond proposal next Tuesday at the high school at 6:30. Well, when it comes to the new library in the works at 20th and Connecticut in Joplin, library officials thought it would be a good idea to get input from some of its most popular users, kids. Developers of the to-be-constructed library yesterday held a focus group with children ages 5 to 11 to get their opinions on a possible layout, design, as well as to figure out what attracts children to particular spaces. Site construction on the library begins in mid to late summer. Construction on the building itself should begin mid to late fall. It's 5:37.
Here's a check of your Wednesday weather. We have some fog with temperatures in the 40s this morning, and you can expect more showers and storms this afternoon, a high of 75.
That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, a historic day for a Missouri Southern pitcher. Up next in sports, Sean Goostree doing something that's only been done 7 times in school history.
Plus, tension on Capitol Hill, why lawmakers are growing increasingly frustrated with the Secret Service. And a German airliner crashes in the French Alps. The latest from the scene as recovery teams and investigators resume their search for the 150 passengers, all presumed dead.
You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. The Missouri Southern Lions are in first place in the MIAA with an 18-3 record. The Lions yesterday afternoon hosting the Pittsburgh State Gorillas, a team that's lost 5 out of their last 7 games. Still to come, controversy in the nation's capital.
Frustration and tension is building between the Secret Service director and lawmakers over alleged misconduct by agents during a bomb threat investigation near the White House. I'm Craig Boswell on Capitol Hill, where we are also seeing surveillance video of the incident for the first time.
Plus, a check of the 7-day forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns. Rise and shine. It's 5:47 on a Wednesday morning, and we have more storms in the forecast for.
Just keep it here, and we'll have the latest.
That's right. You betcha.
All right. Thanks, Dave. Well, tension is growing between Secret Service Director Joe Clancy and lawmakers demanding answers about an incident at the White House earlier this month. 2 senior agents are accused of being intoxicated and interfering with a suspicious package investigation. Some surveillance video of the incident yesterday was shown publicly for the first time, and Craig Boswell is on Capitol Hill with the details.
This is surveillance video showing Secret Service agents in a government SUV nudging a temporary barrier during a bomb threat investigation outside the White House March 4th. Lawmakers are angry additional video hasn't been handed over or has been deleted.
Most of the footage, evidently, according to the Secret Service, has mysteriously gone missing.
New Secret Service Director Joseph Clancy says video is only saved for 72 hours, but he's now changing that to 1 week. Clancy found out about the incident 5 days later with an anonymous email that described the off-duty agents as intoxicated. They were not given sobriety tests.
This is not business as usual.
Clancy immediately turned over the investigation to the Inspector General, but lawmakers are frustrated the director will not allow agents involved to testify.
They're the rank and file. They didn't sign up for coming in front of an open hearing with this, with the cameras and lights, and I think it's my responsibility.
Lawmakers also questioned why the woman who left the suspicious package was not immediately arrested.
When they come to the gate and they've got a bomb and they say they have a bomb, believe them. Take them down.
This is Clancy's 3rd grilling on the incident. He says he needs time to fix the Secret Service culture and hire more agents. Craig Boswell, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Clancy says the Department of Homeland Security's Inspector General could take several weeks to investigate the incident. The 2 Secret Service officials under investigation have been reassigned to desk duty until the report is complete. Just ahead, search crews recovered the black box from the site of a German airliner crash in the French Alps when investigators hope to learn about the plane's final moments. And the U.S. puts the brakes on troop withdrawal from Afghanistan. Why President Obama is shifting plans at the request of that country's president. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news after this. Topping World Watch this morning, recovery teams and investigators resume their search in a remote area of the French Alps, where a German airliner plunged into a mountainside. Tina Kraus in France with the latest on the investigation.
French officials say the black box recovered from the Germanwings crash site in the French Alps is damaged but is believed to still be usable. Investigators say the box contains the voice and cockpit sound recorder.
The cockpit voice recorder, of course, is going to let us know the conversations between the two pilots, any noises, any type of alarms. The flight data recorder actually tells us everything we need to know about the aircraft, if the engines were working properly.
Search teams are once again combing through debris where the jetliner carrying 150 people crashed Tuesday. The Airbus A320 had climbed steadily up to cruising altitude in clear skies after departing from Barcelona. Within just 8 minutes, the plane descended at about 450 miles per hour directly into the mountains. The pilot sent no distress call.
Pilots are trained to fly the airplane and fly it well first, then to begin to analyze the situation and take effective action, and only after that is all done, then to communicate by making a distress call.
The recovery operation is being directed from below, about 15 miles by helicopter from the crash site. It is such rough terrain, crews are being dropped in from choppers. Most of the people on board were Europeans from Germany and Spain, including 16 German high school students taking part in an exchange program. Their tiny town of Haltern will hold an event in their honor today. Tina Kraus, CBS News, Saint-Les-Alpes, France.
President Obama agrees to slow down withdrawal of U.S. troops from Afghanistan. It's a shift in plans for the administration and comes at the request of Afghanistan's president, who will wrap up his 3-day visit to Washington, D.C. with an address to a joint session of Congress later this morning. He's expected to talk about a new U.S. military strategy in the country. President Obama made the announcement at the White House on Tuesday. The president says the U.S. will delay its plan to bring home thousands of troops from Afghanistan this year, saying all 9,800 will remain through the end of 2015, and that next year the U.S. will begin a so-called flexible drawdown. The president stressed the original timeline for troop return has not changed. By 2017, America's presence is to be limited to protecting the U.S. Embassy in Kabul. It's 5:57.
Here's a check of weather, and things are quiet this morning. It's a little cool with some fog. We are expecting to see another round of showers and storms this afternoon, some of which could become severe. Our high today, 75.
More real news ahead, including a change in policy.
The Jasper County Juvenile Detention Center is back open after a failed inspection, but it will no longer house youth overnight. I'm Lisa Ali, with details of the change coming up.
And testimony begins in the trial against the man accused of shooting and killing a Missouri Southern football coach. Was it first-degree murder or self-defense? Inside the courtroom next. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
We'll be right back. Was it murder in a jealous rage or an act of self-defense? Testimony begins in the trial of Jeffrey Bruner. And the Jasper County Juvenile Detention Center makes some policy changes following a failed inspection.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning. Welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It is 6 o'clock on a Wednesday. I'm Dave Pilot.
And I'm Tanya Bott. Coming up this half hour, new information about the death of a Texas woman found dead in a southeast Kansas field. We'll have that story just ahead.
And ever bought breast milk online? Well, a number of people apparently have, to the point where health experts are calling for government regulation. We'll have more on that in Health Watch. Let's get to the weather this morning.
A lot of stuff going on, and I'm sure you guys are going to be pretty busy today.
I think so.
All right, thanks, Dave. Was it first-degree murder or self-defense? Testimony begins in Joplin in the trial of Jeffrey Bruner. Bruner is accused of killing Missouri Southern assistant football coach Derek Moore back in November of 2013. Now, Bruner's family describes him as a calm man, but he did have his moments when he would get very mad. Bruner's daughter testified she and Bruner went to a McDonald's in Joplin where she showed him a Facebook picture of her mom and Bruner's estranged wife, Michelle, with Derek Moore at the movie theater in Joplin. Bruner decided to go to the movie theater to confront his wife and Moore. Bruner's daughter testified she found out about the shooting the same way she found out about her mom's date that night. KOAM's Jordan Aubie was in the courtroom and has the latest.
Prosecutors say while Jeffrey Bruner was on his way to Joplin's Hollywood theaters, he first dropped off his daughter, Alexis. The 16-year-old's daughter testified in court that her dad told her she probably would not want to see him shoot anyone, also saying that she won't have a mom or dad by the end of the night and that he was going to jail. Alexis testified that Jeffrey Bruner texted her while he was at the movie theater, asking what type of clothes her mom, Michelle, was wearing. Witnesses who were at the movie theater that night testified that Bruner shot Derek Moore several times. Prosecutors say Moore's lung was bruised by the bullets, his diaphragm was torn, a major artery was broken, and his spinal cord was damaged, leaving him paralyzed while dying. Witnesses say while Moore was not able to move, Bruner kicked him several times. But Bruner's defense says Bruner felt Moore was reaching for a weapon and that Bruner shot in self-defense. Bruner's defense claims Bruner had no intention of harming anyone. The defense also says Bruner suffered a mental defect, acute stress disorder, from all his wife's affairs. Witnesses testified that after Bruner shot Moore, Bruner said, quote, "They posted it all over Facebook. What's a guy supposed to do?" Bruner's daughter testified she found out about the shooting from Facebook posts.
That was Jordan Aubie reporting. The trial continues today. Those expected to testify include a psychologist on behalf of Jeffrey Bruner and a medical examiner. Well, we have new information this morning on the circumstances surrounding the death of a Texas woman found dead in a southeast Kansas field. 35-year-old Shannon Fonda of Midland, Texas, was found Monday morning in Scammon, Kansas. An autopsy conducted yesterday determined Fonda died from shock and complications due to burns that covered about 90% of her body. The Jasper County Juvenile Detention Center is back open after a failed inspection. Repairs were made quickly, but the inspection has led to a big change in its holding policy. KOAM's Lisa Oligas talks to officials about the fixes that put a discussion about the facility's future back on the table.
The Jasper County Juvenile Detention Center is old and creates maintenance challenges for the county. It failed a recent fire inspection, forcing repairs.
We had to do some adjustments to the heat and air and to the hot water system. We had to fix a couple door locks and had to fix a couple of our smoke detectors to bring it back into compliance.
But it's not capable of keeping offenders overnight, so juvenile officers, often stretched thin for resources, drive youth to the Greene County Detention Center in Springfield. Local police say it won't impact how they deal with offenders, but it would be easier to have a facility here.
Well, there's some benefits to having a local detention center, and really those benefits go to the juvenile office because they don't have to spend their time transferring those juveniles elsewhere. So there is a benefit to having one here.
Greene County juvenile detention officials say they also hold youth for Newton and McDonald counties at their facility. They say the average stay is about 9 days, which will come at a cost to Jasper County.
I believe they're charging us $75 a day.
The auditor says the county has spent $1,350 for 18 days of detention between February 6th and the 26th.
There was not a budget for it, no, but we'll make those payments out of the emergency fund and pay those until we can come to a solution.
The situation is renewing discussion about the future of juvenile detention.
Well, we're always looking for options, and I don't think it's any mystery that we're in an old building now, and it's something that we need to address, and we've looked to the future for many years. That's kind of was the gist behind purchasing some of the lots there and trying to look to the future, knowing that sooner or later we were going to have to deal with a new detention center.
In Joplin, Lisa Oligas, KOAM News.
Greene County juvenile detention officials tell us Jasper County is considering creating an evening reporting center modeled after one Greene County operates. 6:07.
Here's a quick check of the weather for today. We expect more showers and thunderstorms this afternoon. Our high temperature today, 75.
Here at KOAM, we are proud to honor our 4 state heroes.
This morning, we salute an Iraq War veteran, Sergeant Jamie Wilson. He joined the U.S. Army in 2003, Wilson earned a Combat Infantry Badge and an Army Service Medal, among other awards. His hometown, Quapaw, Oklahoma.
We are proud to salute Jamie Wilson, our 4th state hero. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, Angelina Jolie reveals in a New York Times op-ed she had her ovaries and fallopian tubes removed. Why the superstar actress made the life-changing decision. That's ahead.
Plus, living close to busy roads could make you more likely to be stressed. More on that in Health Watch. And little old ladies in tennis shoes. Details on the latest production at Stone's Throw Dinner Theater.
You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. It's Wednesday morning. We do have a little bit of fog in the area this morning. Our sunrise time coming up this morning at 7:14. The days are getting longer by about 2 minutes each day.
That's good. Yeah. We like longer days. Well, Angelina Jolie is making headlines again, revealing she has had more surgery to prevent cancer.
The Oscar winner wrote an op-ed piece telling the world she recently had her ovaries and fallopian tubes removed.
Don Champion reports.
Angelina Jolie says she had her ovaries and fallopian tubes removed last week to ensure she has a long life with her husband and 6 children. The actress and director made the revelation in the New York Times, writing, "I feel at ease with whatever will come, not because I am strong, but because this is a part of life. It is nothing to be feared." The superstar carries the BRCA1 gene mutation, which greatly increases her risk for breast and ovarian cancer. Her mother, grandmother, and aunt all died from the disease. 2 years ago, she had a preventive double mastectomy to lower her risk. But after a recent blood test showed a possible early sign of cancer, she decided to have this latest surgery, even though the effects are life-changing.
The ovary makes estrogen, progesterone, and now she's without the hormone-producing ovaries, so menopause was induced about a decade earlier than in the average woman.
Early menopause increases the risk of bone loss and heart disease, and even though Jolie has dramatically lowered her chances of getting cancer, there is still some risk. Don Champion, CBS News, New York.
Well, in her op-ed, Jolie encouraged women to learn about options and make choices that are right for them.
The average woman has a 12% risk of developing breast cancer sometime during her life.
And women who have had the BRCA gene mutations are about 5 times more likely to get the disease. Here's a look at what's going on around town.
Well, there's a weather spotter training session scheduled for this evening. It may be as easy as just looking out the window to see some severe weather with the forecast that we have for today. This will be from 6:30 to 8:30 at Memorial Auditorium in Pittsburgh, and it is free to attend.
There's a classic country music show this Saturday at the Galena High School at the Performing Arts Center. Starts at 7:30 p.m. For more details, you can go to William A. and Friends. That's a long one, all put together in a website there.
And we've got an Easter breakfast with the Easter Bunny, Saturday, 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. at the Joplin Lions Club on South Connecticut. It's only $5 for adults and $3 for the kiddies. We'll take a break and check the forecast again when we return.
Topping Health Watch this morning, researchers at Johns Hopkins and Harvard link air pollution to higher levels of anxiety. They studied data on about 70,000 older women and found those who lived close to busy roads and were exposed to high levels of pollution were more likely to be stressed. Researchers say air pollution compromises the body's ability to detoxify, which can lead to inflammation or aggravate existing health conditions. There might be a new way to improve muscle function in cystic fibrosis patients. Doctors in Georgia are exploring a non-invasive tool to measure muscle function that could lead to new treatments and therapies. And patients who go home after knee replacement surgery and receive physical therapy recover just as well as those who check into a rehabilitation facility, according to a new study. Researchers at Hospital for Special Surgery looked at 2,400 patients and found complication rates were the same 6 months after surgery, regardless of where the patient recovered. And health experts from London are calling on governments around the world to regulate the sale of breast milk on the internet. Previous research has found milk purchased online has more bacterial growth due to lack of pasteurization, poor shipping, and poor storage. The experts from Queen Mary University say the milk also should be screened for diseases such as hepatitis and HIV. It's 6:17.
Time for a check of weather, and we got our first taste of severe weather in 2015 yesterday afternoon. The KOAM Morning News will be right back.
Little Old Ladies in Tennis Shoes. It's the production going on now at Stone's Throw Dinner Theater, and here to tell us all about it, Linda Bailey. Thanks for coming in this morning.
My pleasure.
So first of all, let's start off with the synopsis of the show. What is it about?
It's about relationships. Kate Corrigan just moved into the suburbs and she bought a house, and it turns out the house is in the neighborhood of little old ladies. And so it's about the relationship she has with the little old ladies, with my character Molly, who is one of the little old ladies, obviously, and my grandson, and the relationship I have with my grandson and my daughter.
Okay, so you were telling me during the break that Little Old Ladies starts off as a comedy, but it gets serious.
Yes, it does. It has some heartfelt moments. We have tissues on the dining room table just in case you shed a tear. My character Molly does shed a few tears on stage.
Now, you actually found this show to be a motivation for yourself.
Very much so. It talks about Kate's past. She grew up in a house with her mother, her aunt, and her grandmother, and it was always dark and dim and musty, and they were always sitting in the chair or the couch and not doing anything. And so she says when she feels that, she gets up and she moves, and she doesn't want to become a little old lady. And it makes me think that, you know, I'm at that age and I don't want to become a little old lady either. I want to stay very active, which I am right now.
Well, that's good. Of course you are. You're out in the play, doing plays. And
that's right.
So as always, Stone's Throw Dinner Theater puts on a dinner with the theater. What's on the menu this time?
It's a very good menu. It's Mexican layered salad, brisket that was absolutely wonderful, scalloped potatoes, peas and onions, rolls and butter, and apple pie with cinnamon ice cream that's to die for.
Oh, I like the brisket. Real quickly though, you guys have added an extra night to the production.
Right, we were all sold out, so we added an extra night, which is this Thursday, the 26th, and the doors open at 6 o'clock, and dinner starts at 6:30, the show at 7:30.
Better call now to get your tickets, or go to the website there at stonesthrow.dinnertheater.webs.com.
Right.
Thanks for coming in this morning,
Thanks
Linda.
for having me.
We'll be right back. Science takes center stage inside the Billingsley Student Center at Missouri Southern. More than 100 students from 6 high schools and 10 middle schools in southwest Missouri and southeast Kansas yesterday took part in the university's 26th annual Regional Science Fair. Categories included behavioral science, computer science, earth and environmental science, and human and animal science. It's 6:27.
Here's a check of your Wednesday weather. A little cool this morning. Temperatures in the 40s, a high of 75 this afternoon, but more storms expected today.
Well, more real news ahead, including a need for funds.
The Seneca School District is seeking approval of a $4.5 million bond issue on the April 7th ballot. I'm Kaylee Doherty. More details coming up.
And a special focus group gives Joplin officials ideas for the new library in the works at 20th and Connecticut.
Architects designing the new Joplin Public Library are seeking input from children. I'm Tim Spears, and all of the details just ahead.
A proposal on the April ballot in Seneca, Missouri includes a $4.5 million school bond. A look at what it would fund. And the Joplin Public Library hosts an input session with its smallest patrons.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning. Welcome to the KOAM Morning News, 6:30 on a Wednesday. I'm Dave Pilot.
And I'm Tanya Bach. Coming up this half hour, we try to find a furry friend, a forever home. The Southeast Kansas Humane Society is here with Caesar for our pet connection.
And the most effective way to remember your wife's birthday might be to forget it once. As always, we'll see who's celebrating another year older today. Let's take a check of weather this morning.
That's right. Thanks, Dave. Well, the Seneca, Missouri School District is seeking approval for a $4.5 million bond issue on the April 7th ballot. Officials say the bond would fund 12 projects across the district. KOAM's Kaylee Doherty has details.
and my baby girl.
Parent Matthew Frazier has 3 young children who attend Seneca schools.
That's a purple car, Daddy.
They moved to town after their Joplin home was damaged by the 2011 tornado. Part of the proposed bond issue would go towards construction of a 7,000 square foot safe room at the high school. Currently, the only safe room is at the intermediate school.
I don't think everybody could fit in it. So we definitely do need a bigger one or more of them.
Superintendent Jim Cummins says the bond will provide just that, without increasing taxes. Right now, the debt service levy is 85 cents to pay off current debt. If the new bond passes, that 85 cents will remain the same, but officials would have more money for additional projects.
What happens is you pay off an existing debt for a few years, your assessed valuation grows, and then there becomes a point in time where you can issue more debt for the same amount of debt service levy.
Officials say the bond issue would also cover security improvements to the Early Childhood Center, along with several other renovations throughout the district.
We would add a tornado shelter at the Early Childhood Center. We would hit several upgrade projects, junior high restrooms, elementary kitchen, visitor bleachers at the high school.
And the largest portion of the bond, $2 million, would go towards paying off a lease purchase agreement, which officials estimate will free up $350,000 of the district's operating budget, benefiting other programs.
If they're not getting something immediately from the bond issue, it's likely their program will benefit from the fact that we have more funds to operate on.
In Seneca, Missouri, Kaylee Doherty, KOAM News.
The Seneca School District is holding a public meeting to answer questions on the bond proposal next Tuesday at the high school at 6:30. When it comes to the new library in the works at 20th and Connecticut in Joplin, library officials thought it would be a good idea to get input from some of its most popular users, kids. That's why a special focus group took place yesterday for the kids. Our resident kid was also there. Here's KOAM's Tim Spears.
Children aren't typically giving architectural opinions on major city projects.
Get their input, have them involved in the process, and to kind of learn what excites them.
Tuesday night, kids put aside their darndest comments, providing suggestions on the to-be-constructed Joplin Public Library.
They were really energized by spaces that had a lot of color, a lot of activity. Not just shelves with books, obviously.
While some had strong opinions on expanding literary selection,
I would put in Kimona Quincy books that are chapters. The Ramona Quincy, Moana Quincy chapter books.
others focused on improving structure and interior design.
Put in more space, more fun places. I think some nice reading nooks and really nice windows.
I liked how they really liked the little cubby holes, like the little tucked away reading nooks. I thought that was really awesome. And then just how excited they were about the color of the space.
Those designing the new library say the suggestions were actually helpful. And it won't be long before these children's dreams become reality.
Hopefully in the next few weeks, you'll begin to see some designs that will be made public. Construction on the site should start late summer.
And are the children excited?
Yes.
In Joplin, Tim Spears, KOAM News.
And just to clarify, site construction begins in mid to late summer. Construction on the building itself should begin mid to late fall. Officials with the Missouri Department of Transportation are promoting roadway safety as part of this week's National Work Zone Awareness Week. In 2014, 67 drivers crashed into MoDOT vehicles and 9 people were killed in work zone crashes across the state. Officials advise drivers to pay close attention to work zone signs, merge lanes early, and avoid distractions and speeding. Officials say 85% of those killed in work zone crashes are drivers and passengers. It's 6:37.
Once again, here's a look at the 7-day forecast. It will be a warm day. It's in the 40s this morning, but should warm up to 75, although we do expect to see more showers and storms this afternoon.
That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, Maybe we don't stop playing because we grow old. How about we grow old because we stop playing? We'll see who's turning another year older today.
Plus, we try to make another pet connection with you in the Southeast Kansas Humane Society. And a strong demand for classic cars. Why the market for vehicles more than 40 years old continues to grow. That's ahead.
You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. It is birthday time. Let's see who's on the list today. You can send your information to us early, and often we'll be happy to put those on TV for you. Sometimes we're a little skimpy on the details about who's what. But anyway, moving on now is our question of the day. A boy and his dog are reunited in which of these classic movies? Lassie Come Home, Old Yeller, or Turner and Hooch? We'll be back with the answer. Up and at 'em at 6:47 on a Wednesday morning. Cool with a little fog in the area, but otherwise things pretty quiet this morning. 50 for the high on Thursday. Still chilly Friday, but it'll get a little better this weekend. Here's the answer to our question of the day. A boy and his dog are reunited in which of these classic movies? Lassie Come Home, Old Yeller, Turner and Hooch. The answer from 1943. It was Lassie Come Home. Time for another pet connection with the girls from the Southeast Kansas Humane Society, Melissa and Erica, along with Caesar. He's pretty much a Heinz 57, isn't he?
Yes, he is. We know he has a little bit of boxer in him. We think a little bit of cattle dog as well. He's about 1.5 years old. Very sweet, mellow dog.
He's pretty much been at the shelter his whole life, right?
Yeah, pretty close. Yeah, he came to us when he was about 4 months old, him and his sister. His sister's been adopted, so now he's waiting. He is shy, but we put him with some really outgoing dogs, and he's taken cues from them and has become more outgoing with people.
So if somebody has maybe a dog already that's a fairly active dog, then this might be a good
He would be
match
great with them. He will follow their cues and do everything they do.
Be a two-dog household if you want to with Caesar. And again, he's only about 1.5 years old, so he's got a lot of miles left on him as well.
He does.
You guys just had your big chili feed fundraiser on Sunday. Had a pretty good turnout for that, but you've got some other things coming up this weekend.
We are going to be at the Business Expo, and that's at Meadowbrook Mall, and that'll be Friday and Saturday from 9 to 5. And then we also have a bake sale on Saturday, and that'll be at the mall as well.
Okay, so you're going to be spending a lot of time at the mall
this
weekend. So drop by if you can, if you're out and about on Saturday, and help out the folks at the Humane Society. Pick up some baked goods and maybe pick up a dog or a cat while you're at it.
We will have dogs there at the bake sale.
Okay, good. Well, we've got some stormy weather in the forecast, and I was just wondering if you guys see sort of an uptick in animals that get loose during storms and they end up at the shelter.
I know animal control does at times, especially when there's a lot of thunder and stuff. Yeah, so make sure your dogs have a place where they feel secure. Dogs don't like that thunder and lightning, and it terrifies them. And they'll jump a fence and get out and take off running. So
you could just leave them in a room with Channel 7 turned on, and they'll fall fast asleep. Won't be a problem.
And not from boredom, just it'll be relaxing.
Our soothing voices, that's right. Okay, once again, Caesar is a pretty good dog. He's a basic dog, very gentle, a little shy, but starting to come out of his shell a little bit more.
And he is good with kids and other dogs and cats, so he's just waiting.
All righty. Good time of year to bring a new family member into your home. Springtime. Do you know if he's housebroken per chance?
That I don't know. He'll probably need some work on that.
Okay, but he's a young guy.
He's very smart.
Needs a good home.
He'll do good.
Thank you, girls.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.
Some things never go out of style, including many classic cars. That's part of the reason the market for cars that are 40 years and older continues to reach new heights. Allison Harmlin reports.
We have 23 cars in here. I probably can't fit any more.
Jeff Sardis collects cars, including plenty of classics, but he's not in it for the money.
So everything from pretty much the 60s and 70s, which is when I grew up, I love looking for and acquiring. It's not just about the cars for me.
It's emotional for you.
It's very emotional.
The emotional attachment to classic cars is fueling a strong demand. In 2014, sales at North American auctions reached an all-time high of $1.3 billion, including this 1962 Ferrari. It went for a record $38 million. But most classics are sold privately or at dealerships like this one. Mike Fiore Sr. and his son, Mike Jr., started with a couple of cars a few years ago. But thanks to the booming market, they've opened a new building and now have around 30 for sale.
This is a 1969, and in that year, this would have ran about $3,700.
What would this cost me now?
This car recently sold to a very frequent customer of ours. He paid $64,000.
Wow.
$64,000 is about the average selling price for a classic, a number that continues to rise. Sardis has seen many of his cars increase in value, but that's not why he buys them.
My first car was a 1975 Pontiac, and the car sitting over there is a 1976. So for me, it takes me back to my first car and just what life felt like back then.
And for him, those memories are priceless. Allison Harmelin, CBS News, Old Bethpage, Long Island.
You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We're back after the break.
Here again is the 7-day forecast. We are quiet this morning, but it's going to be an active day. We're likely to see more showers and storms this afternoon into the early evening hours, and we will have some risk of severe activity today. 75 for the high and only 50 tomorrow.
Well, the Community Foundation of Southwest Missouri presents a large grant to Hearts and Hammers to help people affected by the Joplin tornado.
The nonprofit yesterday received a check for $50,000. Hearts and Hammers helps repair and rehabilitate homes for people who are physically or financially unable to do the work themselves.
This grant from the Joplin Recovery Fund will be designated to help residents with homes damaged by the tornado.
It's just great to know that there's so many different organizations in Joplin that are looking out for every aspect of those that are in need. And so it's great to be able to help them in their mission.
No, it's just phenomenal. Let's just leave it at phenomenal news.
Hearts and Hammers is currently reviewing applications to prepare for its big volunteer work day with Habitat for Humanity in September.
Well, coming up today at noon, be kind to your neighbor. It's even easier to do now because there's an app for that. We'll show you. Plus, you've done your spring cleaning and your house is spotless, but what about all that paper? We've got tips to help you spring clean your family finances. And we head to the Mr. Food Test Kitchen for a recipe for a bacon and egg macaroni salad. Join us for those stories and, of course, much more today on the KOAM News at Noon.
Well, that'll wrap it up for now. Keep an eye on the weather today. We'll have the latest here as these storms develop later on today. Have a great Wednesday. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning.
And we'll see you today at noon.